And we're live from Skibbity, Ohio. Yep, I just said that on the live stream. Let's go.
You know what? We'll have to allow it.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Dude, that theme. Chef's kiss.
It's so good, dude.
Max was Steinering all over the place.
Oh, gosh, and I'm here for it.
Oh yes.
Whenever
coordinated right now, dude. I got the blue. Michael's got the red. Jimmy Jam's got the green.
Hello. This is salmon.
I knew you were gonna say salmon. I guess because it is salmon, but
it is salmon.
I just knew you were gonna say salmon.
It's red in our hearts.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Seeing red again.
Sup, bro?
Sup, bro?
Dude, Max Steiner wasn't a slouch. Holy cow, he did some great stuff.
You know what? Max Steiner, Curry. I don't know if you'll appreciate this or not, Curry. Max Steiner is my main draw to King Kong. Because he did the score for King Kong, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I want to listen. I want to watch it because of it.
It's so good. King Kong is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'll
I
watch
need to rewatch it.
King Kong is freaking awesome. I'm not kidding.
Y'all going to sleep? I love you. I love you so much.
Yes.
Say it louder.
Curry slept in this room. That's so true.
Curry, have you seen The Searchers? I feel like it's probably a dumb question to ask, but
Searcher? Hardly know her. Sorry. No, I'm not. That was great. Hilarious.
Right.
Cusco. It's the Cusco.
What is it?
Scores for Cusco.
Wait. Oh, okay. Never mind. Man, we are on a heater watching banger movies.
Oh, it's not stopping. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in the West, but I know it's not stopping.
Oh my gosh. As people who enjoy music, the score.
Who does it? Who is it?
Ennio Morricone.
Oh, okay, fun.
And this is like one of his just
the one track that
going ham. Like
that one track that you sent the other day goes hard.
I didn't
It's
listen.
got the coolest like building up to a showdown theme. Like,
Curry has a great idea. He said we need to pull a Drake and Josh and do a bad movie Tuesday. I know the perfect movie for that.
Ooh, yes.
Love and Thunder.
Godzilla versus Kong. Oh, okay. Honestly,
no,
that would be really
New
fun.
Empire. I would join you.
Your New Empire.
Nah, that one's not mine. I hate that one.
Wait, can we do Rise of Skywalker?
No,
it's our perfect chance.
I don't even.
Like I'm just done. I'm done talking about
Maybe,
it.
Yeah, I wash my hands of that movie at this point.
I would be down to do an episode on that actually, like right before the Mandalorian movie comes out. That way we can be like, this is the last thing that we got, and if the Mando movie sucks, we can be like, but at least the Rise of Skywalker is better. Anywho, fellas, let's jump into this. I'm gonna do the intro real quick.
No.
Dude, that's the one thing that I miss about Zencaster. Good times. All right. Wait, before we get started, what are you guys drinking right now?
You never asked this question.
I see bright
classic
orange.
Banter
I'm drinking the funniest drink. I'm drinking like V8 Tropical. Like,
Oh, epic.
I mean, it's good.
I thought it was gonna be some sort of cool like cocktail.
No, it's like the lamest drink that I've ever drank, but I love. It's tasty. It's really good. That's a huge cocktail, by the way. Like, good lord.
Well, I don't know. Buckle up.
Mimosas at this hour? Whew. Jim, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking this little Arizona sweet tea.
Arizona sweet tea? Nice.
Curry, what? He said, Michael, I had that like an hour ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So funny.
This must be a dad drink or something.
Well, when you become a father, you start to see drinks differently, you know.
I just want some juicy juice sometimes, y'all.
I could kill for a Capri Sun right now.
I had a Capri Sun like a
Dude,
week ago.
Capri Sun is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Lord's nectar.
I need it in a bottle or a
Oh,
giant pouch,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, just a
giant pouch,
giant
not a
pouch.
bottle.
like super
Yeah.
pouch. Because I do
And
like
with like
the
a
pouch.
massive straw.
Yes.
All right. I'll do the intro real quick. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Banter Fodder podcast. I'm your host, Drew. Join my butt. Let me do that again real quick. Right back from the top. Let's go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Banter Fodder podcast. I'm your host, Drew, joined by my co-hosts Michael Hoover Dam and Jimmy Jam, the Walker Texas Ranger man. Fellas, how are we doing tonight?
So good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
excited.
Yeah.
I feel like when's the last time we've been on a good streak of week after week after week?
Now,
Now. All
we're
right.
crushing it right now.
There we
It's
go.
been a long while.
been
And
a while.
we almost missed this week, but we made it work. So that's
We
exciting.
did.
Speaking of exciting things though, gents, it's that time again. What have you guys been watching the last week? Jimmy Jam, let's start with you because you're wearing a green shirt. And
That is the
so
rule.
that means you're a turtle and you're going to read through 500 movies very slowly.
No, I've only seen 2, actually. I watched a found footage horror movie called Frogman.
I can't wait to watch that.
It's a different one. It's basically Blair Witch Project, but with a frog and like a humanoid frog instead of a witch. It's so similar in so many respects. It's a combination of that and Cloverfield. Like, it opens up just aping Cloverfield of like kind of fallout in a relationship. It's a good it's a goodbye party for somebody going away, and you're getting all the talking heads of like, we're gonna miss you, ball. Like, it's
Oh my gosh, that's literally Cloverfield.
yeah, it is 100% Cloverfield, and then it
Good
morphs
movie, by the
into
way.
yeah, I really like it. And then it morphs into Blair Witch of like, we're at this local town asking about their local legend, Frogman, blah blah blah. It's just like, and it's there are moments where it's like, it's really funny, but I'm like, I can't tell how straight it's trying to play it or how in on the joke is. There's a particular moment that makes me think like, surely they're in on the joke, and this is just like deep cover commitment to it. But I don't know, it was weird, it was different overall. I'm a bit neutral on it. I could swing maybe positive, but it was different. Different in that it was exactly like those 2 other movies. The other one I watched.
Sorry, really quick. I'm curious. I don't know if we've really talked about this. How are you on Cloverfield?
I really like Cloverfield.
Sweet. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I do too. I really like Cloverfield.
I love found footage. I love just like that chaotic sense of like I love, this sounds so morbid, I love movies that have like mass panic. Like, if it's just crowds of people freaking out through the streets, I'm like, yes.
Oh
like
yeah, and then
2014
like
Godzilla.
and then they're like exploding. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The first Transformers is peak, dude.
Oh yeah, I love the
Oh,
first. Also, the first like 40 minutes of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds is Mwah, 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 mwah. One
I
of
need to
like
rewatch that one.
Same.
that. It's got problems as it goes on. There's some frustrating elements of it. Overall, I really enjoy it, and its first 40 minutes are it's just a masterpiece, and so much of it is just like that sense of like that realistic and believable kind of like sense of like mass panic of like what's going on, this isn't normal, everybody's freaking out. Yeah, I love it. So I love Cloverfield for that too. But so friend of the show Curry was he had a connecting flight in Texas, and by the time his plane landed, the next flight took off already without him. So
that's dumb.
yeah, I know. I don't know why they didn't wait, but it ended up making for an impromptu hangout, and we got to go. It was funny is he had texted and said like it was basically like, yeah, the flight is going to be gone. Like it was because we had joked earlier, like, what if I have to pick you up? Ha ha ha. And it turns out that that's what happened. And whenever he sent the text, it basically was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make the other flight. The first thing that literally within a second, the first thing I did was go to the Texas Theater website to see what was playing. And so picked him up from the airport. We grabbed a bite to eat, and then we went and saw A Better Tomorrow 2, which is a John Woo action movie starring Chow Yun-fat. I saw the first one last year and really liked it a lot. I love Hard Boiled and The Killer and stuff. So I'm generally, especially like with his 80s and 90s like Hong Kong stuff, a big fan of John Woo. This was one of the most baffling movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it was one of the most wild experiences of what on God's green earth is happening. There's is this a movie? There was a moment, there's a particular moment that was like it was going for sincerity and earnestness. And I'm usually the person who hates like laughing at a movie that's going for like an emotion and you're like, oh, it's like if it kind of comes across as goofy where you're like, yeah, but in the moment, it doesn't matter that it's goofy to us as viewers. Like it matters what's happening for them in this moment. And like, blah, blah, blah. I literally was crying. I had my mouth, like my face in my hands, like crying tears of laughter. Like I couldn't believe it. It got to the point where the entire theater, I'm like, things would happen and the entire theater would like erupt in laughter. We're like, what is this? So if you're looking for just like an insane movie, absolutely bonkers, like the first thing that happened, like I was having questions about like, what is this? This is not like the first one. What have I gotten myself and Curry into? That the moment that cinched it, that was like, okay, this is next level. As they go to a restaurant, and so it's a Hong Kong movie, but some of it takes place in America. And one of the characters, one of the guys originally from Hong Kong, is now running a restaurant in America. And for some reason, when East Asian films cast American actors, they always go for the absolute worst ever. And so this guy just goes, like, he's sitting there and impromptu of nothing just goes, "This effing rice sucks!" And he throws like the plate of rice across the room in slow motion. And it's like the way he says it, the whole theater like just burst into laughter. If you can catch this movie in a crowd, go for it.
Wow.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that does sound fun. God.
Michael, have you been watching any weird bad movies like that?
Unfortunately, other than The Searchers, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Let's see. First of all, I did want to say that Curry mentioned should have done an episode last weekend, and I could have been on camera with James. True. Why didn't we think of this? What's wrong with us, y'all? Okay, so I haven't watched very much this week at all. I'm sorry. I watched basically Stone's Gonna Kill Me. If you're in here, Stone, I'm sorry. I started rewatching yet another show, and it is season 1 of The Newsroom. I started watching The Newsroom. Have y'all heard of that show?
No.
It's an Aaron Sorkin show.
Okay.
So
I have
it's
heard of it then.
Jeff Daniels. It's really, really, really good. In a lot of the time, it's very Aaron Sorkin, and most of the time that's a good thing. But it doesn't hit the levels that The West Wing does. Like, there's certain things that, like, Sorkinisms that he does, that are like, when they happen in The West Wing, something about it, it's like every time it happens, it's like, yes, this is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it, because there's something about, maybe it's the cast, maybe it's just the way the show is. It just fits perfect. There's some reason with The Newsroom, it always feels like out of left field. And so, like, I think not everything ties together quite as well, but I really, really like it. It's about this newsroom. It's about this news station, that is, they're trying to do, basically they have a mission, and that is to do the actual news and not what gets ratings. And and kind of the fight against their parent company over that, and kind of deal. So and then the characters within it have drama between them and all that. It's fun, it's cute, it's funny, it's sweet, it's heartwarming. So yeah, I do recommend it. It's really good. It's not The West Wing, but it is still really, really good. Other than that, I really haven't watched anything else this week, unfortunately.
I think we've all been kind of slacking. So the only thing that I watched in the last week was The Long Walk. But man, that's all I needed to watch, because that movie floored me. I cannot stop thinking about it. I really want to see it again. Part of me is like, do I want to put myself through that again, though? Because it is a heavy movie. Heavy movie. I went into it being like, it's directed by the guy who did Hunger Games. It's not going to be that serious. I was wrong. I was very wrong. The trailers for it, like, hooked me in. I was like, yeah, I want to see this. Really good trailer. The movie's even better. It's fantastic. I think it's easily my top 3 of the year. Yeah. Dang. So I probably, honestly, might be my second favorite of the year. So with Sinners being first. But yeah, I thought this was just absolutely phenomenal. The writing is incredible. Everyone's performance, not just the 2 leads with Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, but like all of the supporting cast, Mark Hamill, they're all phenomenal.
My guy.
Yeah, he's like unrecognizable in this too. It's great. But yeah, this was amazing. And maybe I just don't understand Stephen King as a writer, because I haven't like actually read his books. But whenever I think of Stephen King, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna have like some, super like postmodern kind of like takes in his books and themes and all that stuff. But despite this film being as heavy as it is and as dark as it is, there's a really good like sense of hope that's like underlying in everything. And I found the message to be quite I don't know, quite mature and good. So it never made, and there's also these moments that are like sprinkled throughout the film of like humor and like, just the characters bonding with each other, that make the entire journey worth it. It doesn't make you feel like, oh man, I can never watch this again because it's too depressing. But yeah, I highly recommend seeing it on the big screen if you can, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, Stephen King, I haven't read any of his books actually, but I've seen several movies that were adapted from his books, and I do feel like and when he goes, especially like the non-horror route and stuff, I do feel like he can really lean into that. Like Stand By Me and freaking Shawshank. That's like the most hopeful movie ever. But it's also really tough to watch. But I think he does he does that well. At least the adaptations do that well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm actually, so I was gonna say I'm a big Stephen King fan. I don't know if I can say that, having only I've read the Salem's Lot and The Shining, and I really loved both. But like he does have that, like, I mean, The Shining has a, especially the book, has a very optimistic ending. There's hope, pretty basically a very warranted hope. In it. So
does the
I mean,
movie? I don't remember
Uh,
that.
the movie,
That's definitely not what I remember.
just
about
because
that.
it doesn't jump forward, and because the book kind of jumps forward and lets you see that there is change in their lives. But in the
Gotcha.
movie, Wendy Wendy and the why am I forgetting? Is it Danny?
Yes, I think
Are able to escape, and Jack Torrance dies, out there, but they do escape. So there is the hope in that sense, that he is left to the hotel while they're free. But the book goes beyond that. It kind of.
Okay, gotcha. No,
cool. Yeah, I this movie though, definitely recommend it. It made me want to read the book and also read The Shining and a couple of his other books, because I love this. Speaking of movies that I love though, let's chat about The Searchers. And we're gonna do things a little differently again today. Jimmy Jam, do you want to lead this posse?
Well, I reckon I just might.
ooh, I didn't know we were doing this.
Yeah, it was a thing that I just kind of like asked Jimmy Jam earlier today. Because I was like, hey, this would be kind of cool. I also kind of needed it. So, but also with James being a big fan of this, I thought it would be really fun.
Spoiler alert, God.
James hates this movie and he hates John Wayne.
All right. Now I am a huge fan of this movie, and westerns. And so, I guess first off, we're gonna do the just our history with the movie, but also just I think I kind of like to just ask history of the genre as well. For myself, I never really grew up with westerns a ton, which is surprising because like I grew up on classic movies, Turner Classic Movies and stuff, but there weren't really a lot of just westerns that I guess we spent a lot of time watching and rewatching. So it was a genre that I was pretty unfamiliar with. And a few years ago, I was like, man, it's such a foundational genre in cinema, especially American cinema. I was like, and I mean, and it's in a lot of ways our claim to international fame with cinema, with like Kurosawa considering John Ford and the Western as like basically what he thought was like the peak of cinema. He thought Ford was his master, and Sergio Leone thinking the same, and so I was like, I need to just watch westerns, and I watched Stagecoach, and I didn't love it. I was like, this, I don't know if this is for me, but I watched more Westerns. High Noon is an absolute masterpiece. Really like Magnificent Seven. I rewatched Stagecoach and fell absolutely in love with it. And so eventually just watched a bunch of movie like westerns from the 40s and 50s and 60s and realized and then the spaghetti westerns, getting into Sergio Leone and stuff, and just realized I freaking love this as a genre. And we talked a lot in the New Hope episode. A lot of like what I love about that and movies in general is like archetypal storytelling and like myth genres that really play up like the mythic kind of storytelling. And I think the Western does that maybe more consistently than any other genre. Of just, this genre is just constantly trading in symbol and imagery, and it's got just it's super accessible and watchable on the surface, and then you just realize that it's this whole genre is constantly talking back and forth as it goes on between the classics and then up until this era where like John Wayne is not like the white hat that he was when he was introduced in like the most iconic shot ever in Stagecoach. Just like you can kind of trace the arc of the Western just in the movies that he did with John Ford, the difference in character from the beginning to end of his work there. And then into like the revisionist Westerns of Peck and Paw, and then, spaghetti Westerns, and then Unforgiven, and this whole other new reimagining of it. Like, there's like this ongoing story and idea going through it that I've come to really, really, really love. And then in this movie in particular, I'd watched this one once as a kid, and I remember liking it, but it didn't really leave a whole lot of an impression. And this was one of the ones that I watched as I was getting into Westerns. And Drew actually watched this because we were watching it as kind of a cinema club with some other friends. And when I watched it then, I fell absolutely in love with this movie. All of its reputation felt like it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So I'm a big fan of this. It's got things we're going to talk about. So it's kind of part and parcel, unfortunately, with the era. But overall, that's my feelings here. I'm really hyped to talk about this one. Derby, what about you? What's your experience with the genre, and what is? Well, there you go, Michael. What about you?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up watching a ton of Westerns either. When I was a kid, I did watch a decent amount of Bonanza.
All right.
I just remember as a kid having some friends who watched it, and then I ended up watching a good bit of it. So I have like that bit of lore. And then I had another friend who watched a lot of Western movies, John Wayne in particular. So I had seen the original True Grit growing up, and then there was a couple of other John Wayne films that I'd seen. I don't even remember which ones they were, but I've had like my fair share there. That was a bar. And so that was kind of like the extent of Westerns for me for a long, long time. Somehow like never watched The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, or like that entire trilogy. Never really watched those. And I was missing out on a lot of others. I think the only other like big prominent Western that I had seen was 3:10 to Yuma, the newer version by it was Mangold who did that, right? Yeah.
That's one of his that I really like a lot.
Yeah, I really loved it
because he's great. Okay.
All right. Anyways, so that's pretty much the extent of westerns for me. And then whenever it was when we were going through western films in our little cinema club, um that's when I started to really fall in love with the genre. I feel the same way that you do in terms of like archetypes and myth. I think that's partly why I gravitate towards a lot of like blockbuster movies, like especially like Star Wars and stuff like that. It's just that is like it's bread and butter. And so I immediately fell in love with that side of the westerns. But I also kind of got a good taste for seeing just how much depth there was behind westerns. Um, I remember watching The Searchers, loved it on my first watch, and then we watched HUD. We watched the assassination of Jesse.
Jesse James by
Jesse
the coward
James
Robert
by the
Ford,
coward.
the longest title ever.
Yeah, but man, phenomenal film. Um, I'd seen Unforgiven before we did all of that, so I slowly started like really falling in love with the genre. I also watched, I think it's 1883, the Sheridan show. Really loved that. Also saw the first season of 1923. Really loved that. I need to get back to that show because I heard the new season's great. But yeah, the genre has started to become a favorite of mine, especially when you get the movies like HUD, where it has something more to say, not just cool cowboys being cool and shooting guns and stuff like that, but there's something about the films, especially like the stories that kind of talk about the old ways dying, that really resonates with me. Yep, No Country for Old Men, HUD, not a movie, but both of the Red Dead Redemption games. Those kinds of stories, I think, are just peak westerns for me. But then you've got stuff like The Searchers that is also really fantastic. So this is a genre that I'm still just kind of like dipping my toes into, and I haven't experienced all of the greats yet. High Noon is another one that I watched and I really loved. So it's a journey that I'm on right now that I want to keep continuing on, because everything that I've seen so far I've really loved. And I know that I still have a lot of iconic and greats ahead of me.
Nice. Michael?
Yeah. Westerns have never been super my thing. And even now, like, you guys at some point within the last few years have both fallen in love with it. I haven't gotten to that point. I don't know if that's a thing I will eventually get to, or if it's just something that I won't. But westerns have just never. I didn't grow up on them, and for whatever reason, I've always just in my mind, like, and even like right now, the most I've seen of westerns is on TV at my in-laws' house, and honestly, they all looked exactly the same and they all bleed together. I walk in at different time, another movie's on, but it looks the same. Like, genuinely, a lot of them feel that way to me. I've seen probably bits and pieces of like 20 movies, and John Wayne is in like at least 15 of them. And so I do
at least 1,500.
Yes. But so all that to say, I don't have a history with westerns. I am looking forward to this month of diving in more to some, because I do want to have more appreciation for them. And I think this was a great start. Obviously we'll talk about the movie, but like in general, I think starting with something like this feels really good, because it feels like the best of a certain kind of Western. And I think I'm excited to see what other kinds there are. But I really, I guess my main, what I'm trying to say is I am really hoping as I go deeper, we're gonna watch a couple more here. And what I would like to do is in between the ones that we watch, for the podcast coming up in the next couple of weeks, I would like to watch a couple in between. Like if I can find the time, I would like to watch a couple of those, and I'm gonna get y'all's recommendations for which ones I should do. But
High Noon.
Okay, I love Shanghai Noon. What
Yeah.
else? I could not. I'm sorry. I've been
HUD.
holding that back
I keep
for a long
saying
time.
HUD, but oh
Um,
man, that movie.
but yeah, so I've seen a few. I have seen the original True Grit, and that one is great. I really do like True Grit. And then 310 to Yuma, the modern one, I love.
That one. That's the greatest modern Western to me. And I think that's the last of the classic Westerns. I don't think we've had another classic
Gotcha.
Western since.
Well, yeah, I would definitely like to watch that at some point soon, because it's probably been since theaters since I've seen it. I do remember loving it, but I didn't know much about Westerns or anything. I just know that was great. So yeah, I've seen some here and there. I'm really, really excited. I feel like, sometimes on this podcast, this is the role I play. You guys are introducing me to stuff I haven't seen before. So this is another one of those.
Hey, that was me last episode.
Yeah. And and I'm so glad you enjoyed Last of the Mohicans, dude. I'm so glad. The music's been in my head all week.
Honestly, there's some similar things being shared between The Last of the Mohicans and this film, so it kind of feels like a good segue.
Yeah, it does. You're right. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get more into some other Westerns, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. I haven't given it. I watched it, and I haven't given it a rating. I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to talk about it with you guys before I settled on a rating. So you guys will be, this conversation will be influential on that. So that'll be fun.
Nice. The first thing that I wanted to talk about that also I really liked hearing all of that. I like hearing people's histories with different directors and genres and stuff, and I don't know, it's fun to me. But so the first thing that I figured we could talk about is something that the movie is definitely known for, and it's something that sticks out pretty immediately, is just the way it's directed in terms of the physical place, just the landscape, the feel, the influence that the surrounding has on it, and how the story is directed within it and everything. Did y'all feel as if, like, the environment, the way it's shot, the way it's directed, the way the story, like, that had an influence on y'all in the movie? I guess that's a vague question, but did anything stand out there to y'all, or is it just kind of like it's set dressing, but it could look like anything?
I think for me, the sense of scale that it shows really sells the search itself, because, like, especially without having any of the technology that we have now, like, I could not imagine trying to find someone like in this capacity. You have to, make sure your horses are fed. You also have to make sure you're eating. You have to watch out for poisonous snakes. You have to watch out for this, and that. Make sure you have enough water, and then also, which direction do you go? And I feel like that the sense of scale really sells that aspect of, like, they're having to survive out in the middle of nowhere while searching for someone, and there's even scenes that play out where they're like, I think they're this way, no, they're actually that way, and it just does a good job of selling that for me. And it also, in the same way, it equally sells the passage of time as well, because there's a lot of time jumps in this, and they don't really they don't tell you. It doesn't say like this many years later or anything like that. You just kind of have to like guess by like context clues. But I think
Snow.
No.
I think that the environment sells that well for me.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I think, I want to say there's like only one major sequence that takes place on like a studio set, which is whenever they're like asleep at the fire, and then he's using the thing to lure him in. Outside of that, it is just all location shooting, and that to me, just the sensory experience of that is just so felt to me, where like it's such a different thing. If we got the close-ups of like shoulder up of them just kind of making this motion while a screen just passes by of mountains in the background, it's like that they're not actually out there. The difference between that kind of thing of just a running screen behind people play acting that they're riding a horse versus wide screen, like this thing is just, it is pulling back to where, I mean, I took a picture of a moment where I'm just like, the way they're selling the enormity of just the giant cliffs, and you look close, you're like, oh my gosh, those are horses. Those are tiny little horses at the base there. And just how much physical space, like actual real physical space, is captured in frames constantly
And
throughout.
it also they take advantage of that with the action sequences as well. Like one in particular that sticks out to me is whenever they're having to cross the river, and they're actually like riding horses through it, and then you get people getting shot in the river, and there's just so much like impact that those action sequences have, which you don't really feel often, at least for myself, from a lot of like 50s movies. When they have action in it, it just feels like they're pointing the gun and then they just go, and it doesn't really feel like that to me here. And I think because a lot of it is shot on location, and they're riding horses, like really sells that.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all are saying. I think the scale is really impressive. Yeah, how they're able to capture this with with the old ways of making film it's really impressive. I have some shots pulled up because I don't own the movie digitally. I have some shots pulled up, and it's like all of these are paintings. This is incredible. I love just a really specific thing I love. It looks different than Westerns that I've seen. I don't feel like there's a lot of rolling hills. There's a lot of like tall, like mountain kind of like
cliff things,
mesas and stuff. Yeah, like rather than just sweeping hills. There are hills obviously, but it's not just like the plains. It's like, it looks very much like Arizona, New Mexico kind of landscape, and it is gorgeous. And there are some shots I see, even like just a quick Google search of cinematography from this movie, there's a couple of shots angled up toward them riding horses with those in the background, and it's like, oh my gosh, just freaking epic. And what
it really informs that. I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the scene from The Fabelmans when young Spielberg meets John Ford, and he has him come in. And what's funny is John Ford was like famously very like an ornery man who made at times like really tender. I think he made some really, really sweet, tender movies. And the people who really knew him said he was actually like, when you got to know him, he's a very kind, quiet man. But if he didn't love being bothered, so the way they capture that in that scene, whenever he's like, "Look at that painting. What do you notice about it?" He's like, "No, look at the horizon. Is it low or is it high? It's low. Is that one? It's high." It's like, if it's high, it's exciting. If it's low, it's exciting. If it's dead on, it's boring. It's just like that's
and having David Lynch play that role is just incredible.
Oh my gosh, I need to rewatch this movie because when I watched it the first time, well, I've only seen it once. When I watched it, I had never seen a John Ford movie, and I didn't know that was David Lynch. I didn't know any. I had never seen David Lynch anything, so actually that'll be really funny.
Yeah, I quick side tangent, but I actually really love that movie.
I heard it's
really love it a lot.
It's very good. It's very, very good. John Williams did a great job too, obviously.
Oh yeah.
More piano driven score, which is always great.
Like
yeah. There's one specific sequence in this that I really like. It's visually really cool, where their group is on their horses, and then you see the I can't remember the tribe that they're chasing, or
the one that comes up beside them.
That comes up beside them on both sides, and the shot you can see at some point. You can see it's like this big wide shot with them in the middle, and the others are converging onto them. It's just it's huge, but then they're like coming in close. It's so cool. And then something else that I noticed too that they did, the shots that stuck out to me the most, other than the ones that were like, oh, that's a painting, like, which was like every other shot, were there. They do a lot of like, they shoot from whether it's in a house out or in a cave out, and he like, it's like this awesome silhouette shot of him. Or like he's centered in the doorway or in the entrance to the cave. It's that shot is from within there, and it is awesome. That
framing, the frames within frames is just
those were the shots that to me which is weird, out of this movie with these vast, landscapes and amazing, beautiful shots. Those were the ones that stuck out to me the most, because they were like, whoa, that's cool. What a great idea. And so maybe it's just, they're not only were they cool, I think they were just some of the more intimate shots in the movie too. Yeah. So
there's a shot from outside the house, like earlier on in the film, and it's from outside the house, and it's like angled in a way where it's kind of like peeking through the door, and you see the other door behind open. And so you've got like two characters in each door, and it's just like, gosh, man, the blocking was unreal.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff. And what I also love is like, there's really a lot of intention behind it beyond just looking really cool. Like one of the ideas that I really love of the West is that idea of like what we see now today as society, like buildings and roads cut through dirt, just the wherever we're living, just imagine what it would have looked like 1,000 years ago, just untouched. This idea of like civilization meeting frontier. There's a particular shot that I loved. It's whenever they come up to the guy who turns out to be a traitor. But when they're first coming up to it, you just see it's one of those giant mesas, and all the mountainous desert regions, and then there's these houses there kind of in front of it, and it just the juxtaposition of just like an untamed frontier with just the angular designs of building like side by side. And like so much of the West is that the Western is that idea of push it, like bringing the angular of civilization and pushing it out into this vast, frontier. And so I really love that idea, and I think that is used a lot in the cinematography as well. Like, to me, this might be the greatest like opening shot ever, of just where in and there's a lot of like emphasis on like whenever we're interior versus exterior and that kind of thing. And the opening shot of just being inside looking at the door, and when the door opens and we just follow, like we're inside, it's a building, it's got doors, it's got beds, it's got chairs, and it opens up to just pure landscape, no homes in sight, no city in sight, nothing. And just push out from that, like the frame of the door into the open, is I love that. And then the cave, Ford, he would make a lot of like literary allusions as well, and that idea, he's like George Lucas of, you know, in the classics, there's the descent into the thing, and that's why they go into the belly of the Death Star. And that idea of Ethan, his final moment, this moment that tests his character to its greatest point, was when he emerges, he emerges into this cave, and we just see his silhouette entering, and we're terrified at this point because we know what he's capable of, and we have no idea what he's going to do to Debbie when he gets her, because of just this bitterness and hatred of the Native Americans. And that just, and so just using, you've got all this landscape, but just using this cave, this, we are deep within the shadow, everything out there is so bright, we're deep in the shadows, and he's entering in, and we've got no idea how this is gonna play out. I think that's so good. Speaking of Ethan and just the cast in general, there's like well, let's dive in. Let's just dive into Ethan. What are y'all's thoughts on him as a character? He's a very discussed character.
Yeah. I guess this would also be a good time to kind of bring up some of the themes of this film and some of the like old Hollywood stuff. But like racism is kind of at the forefront of this film. And John Wayne, because of how iconic he is and because of how much charisma he has on the screen, I think, even in this film, he might be kind of seen as like the protagonist or like the hero. But I think John Ford is doing a pretty good job of making a point that Ethan is not a good guy. Yeah, he is a part of this family. He wants to get his niece back. He wants revenge. But all of that is driven by his hatred for Native Americans. And I know that like a lot of discourse on this film is about some of the way that the Native Americans are portrayed and the way that racism is involved in this film. But I think that I don't know, at least my read from the film is that John Ford is kind of critiquing the Western genre in a way. And I don't think he's shedding lightly on the fact that that this was an issue. Ethan's character is very complex, and nuanced in the same way that, I mean, we were having our discussion of The Last of the Mohicans last week. That film is way more nuanced than a lot of people would like to admit, but that's just because they're looking at the surface. And I think the same goes for this film. I think he's a great character. I think that, some of the most interesting films are the ones where we get these characters who are very morally gray, or they have like these big issues that they're dealing with, and the director or the writer doesn't like glorify those aspects of the character. And then you get his character juxtaposed by Martin, who is like part Native American, and he faces I mean, like even Ethan doesn't view him as his family. So I don't know. I think that this film is a lot more nuanced than a lot of people would like to admit, just like The Last of the Mohicans. I'm not saying that everything was perfect in this, of course, but I think that there's a lot of depth to this character. And I think he does go through a bit of an arc throughout the film. Because that's another thing that I've read some criticism on, is that like, oh, well, this character didn't learn anything. And I don't really agree with that fully. So I don't know. I think that John Wayne is really great in this role. And I think he's a great character.
I like the character. I can see why people would say that. I generally, by the way, a character doesn't have to have a journey from here to here and change throughout that journey to be a good character. I don't believe that. There are some characters that them staying that way through the movie, them being them through the movie, is the point and is awesome. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Ethan staying the way he is would be like the greatest thing, and I honestly don't know. One of my potential issues / things that it just kind of came out of nowhere for me at the end. It felt like it jumped from him trying to kill what's her name, the
Debbie.
Debbie. It felt like he went from that to picking her up and walking in the sunset with the sweet music, with nothing happening to get him from there to there. It felt like, for me, like super quick. And I was like, I definitely prefer that this happened, but where was that step? What happened to get him from here to here? I don't feel like I got that. So I actually really do get what people are saying there. And so and maybe you guys can enlighten me on something that I missed or something. I just didn't, when I was watching, my experience was, I was like, that was out of nowhere. I really thought he was going to kill her, or I thought that he was going to kill Martin while Martin was trying to save her or something. I thought this was going to go really dark, and then it just didn't, which I prefer, but also what happened to get him there. So maybe y'all can talk to me there about that. But overall, I did really like his character. I like when we have these characters that are really complex and really kind of morally gray. Like, definitely, like, there's something about a man who has clearly some dark sides to him. So the way that he treats certain people, the way that he talks about certain people, but then at the same time, he literally will not stop until he finds this person, no matter how long it takes. And so maybe there's revenge there. Maybe there's love there. Maybe there's both. That's an interesting character, So I think I really like characters like that. And so I don't need him to be, hero all the time or whatever. I like that he was that way through the whole movie. It just felt like a what it felt like when I watched it was something happened in an original cut, and the studio was like, "No, you can't do that." And John Ford made a super happy ending out of nowhere. I'm sure that's not what actually happened, but I felt like, what did I miss? So that would be my main critique on that, if you can call it a critique.
Yeah, so for me, well, and whenever I use words like this is a good character, a great character, a blah blah blah, like it's certainly not a moral judgment. I think Gollum is a great character.
Yeah,
I think
for sure,
Sauron is a
100%.
great.
Walter White.
Walter White is a great character, one of the greatest of all time characters. To me, I don't know. I put Ethan in like the 20 greatest movie characters.
Wow.
It is because of the inability to just, I mean, I think some people will, but I think in general, like the inability to safely categorize him is just, there's so much nuance. Ford definitely knew that he is not the character that he was from Stagecoach like 20 years before. So when people act as if the movie is not aware of Ethan's sins, if you watch Stagecoach to She Wore a Yellow Ribbon to all of these other movies and up to The Searchers, you see a progression, you see a change in the way this especially just these two people working together, Ford and Wayne, there is a very clear shift, and it's like a reckoning of this kind of person. Like when he's first introduced, he's returning from the war that he won't admit ended. When he says the line, "I don't believe in surrender," the war's over, not for me, that kind of thing. Like this, he is a man whose identity is now like defined by war. But I think like his interactions with Lucy and Debbie at the beginning they're just so sweet. Like when I really love Wayne as an actor, and because I think whenever he's playing like the kind of, he's in a good mood, he's happy, he loves the people he's around. Like whenever Debbie's in front of him, he's got like the smile that's just like closing his eyelids. It's so big, and he's just like he's looking at like the apple of his eye, and he's like he's a disheveled, unkempt uncle, but he's the uncle that like he loves his family and these nieces, to the grave. There's a twinkle in him, and there's just a fun, jovial sense to him. And then the way he expresses just this prejudice and bitterness and hatred at times. And it's also what I really love about the performance is like that it's sometimes it bursts out, but there's often just like a really jeering, quiet hatred behind his eyes, of just sitting at the table. And it's not a big to do. It's just the sideways glances that are always happening, the trying to be stone faced, but you're letting the emotion kind of show around the eyes of like, you don't like this guy. You don't like what's happening. The constant, you're not my kin. And I also love that you start to confuse the two. You start to confuse what the journey is, whether it is to save Debbie or whether it is to kill Scar. And there are moments whenever, or there's one particular moment where somebody says, "Oh, the Scar was out that way," blah blah blah, and Martin says, "Was Debbie with him?" And Ethan just says, "You said Scar or whatever." Yeah. Like that Scar, that was the only thing, and this becomes his complete pursuit, even to the point of he finds Scar already dead. I think that's a super important thing, is he doesn't even kill him. He finds him dead, killed by the real hero. And even then he takes it upon himself to take his own scalp, and another moment that I think just really sells this like unsatisfied hatred is whenever they find the buried guy from their tribe, and he shoots him through the eyes, and they're like, "What good did you do?" And he's like, "It means nothing based on what you preach, but what he believes. Now he's got to wander, the afterlife with no eyes." Just there weren't even any other people in his tribe to witness it. It's not even as if you have the understandable, like, I just want the people he loved to see that and believe that. Like, there's no witnesses. So what is he proving? It's nothing but another attempt to like satiate this hatred, because he doesn't have a war to fight anymore. So he's got to find something. And I also just think, like, I think, and why I don't think that turn at the end is out of the blue is because I think the whole movie has this quiet war happening inside of him when it comes to family, and this intense like racist hatred within him, where if there's ever a moment that like captures his relationship with Martin, it's whenever they come back to find the house burning, and Martin goes in to try to find his aunt, and there's Ethan allegedly cares nothing about him, but he keeps him out, and he's like, "You don't need to see this." And Martin keeps trying to get in, and Ethan just punches him right in the face. And I'm like, that is their relationship right there. It is both an acting out of this anger and a familial protection, all in at the same time. And I think that's constantly happening. And again, we get another moment that's exactly that. It's like it's an acting out of this internalized hatred mixed with a kind of familial love that he own up to. Like whenever, he's leaving everything he has to Martin, somebody that he's just been so short and rude with and condescending and racist and all of this, he's leaving, were he to die, he leaves everything to him, and we know that Jorgensen has like been herding his cattle with his, so it's like it's not even like he's got nothing to leave. He has a lot to leave. And so it's this bequeathment to Martin, and I think there's a real familial kindness in there that he won't own up to, and yet the whole reason is because he no longer recognizes Debbie as kin. It's like it is this horrible motivation that's driving at the same time an acknowledgement of I'm now giving this to you after what we've been through. And so I think that battle is constantly playing inside of him the whole movie. And this was the final moment to actually put him in the place to test what is going to win out at this point. Like we've just been building up this idea of what matters more to him, like family or hate, family or hate, family or hate. That's every step of the journey. And this confrontation is whenever the movie, to me, is setting it on that final tip, and we're just waiting to see which way it sides. And I just think him being so close to her, close enough to pick her up and look at the face and recognize the face, is that last piece that tips it that way. But I think the movie, like, I think it's a very bittersweet ending, because I think the movie is saying that despite doing the right act, and I don't think he fits neatly into hero or villain. I know people who say, the movie is only good if you know that Ethan's the villain. I'm like, no, he rescues
That's a dumb
her.
take.
Yeah, he rescues Debbie. He cares for his family, but he's also, I'm slaughtering all the buffalo and being like, every dead buffalo is a dead Comanche. You're like, oh my gosh, this is like just literally trying to starve them out over the winter. It's like, this man is, but I think the movie knows that he didn't, despite doing the right thing, he didn't earn a villain's death. You don't see him shot and he falls over. He doesn't get the villain's death, the way you see that in the Western, but he doesn't get the hero's welcome either. I think that last scene is so freaking intentional, where he comes back holding Debbie and he sets her down. And if you look at it, and I know that this was like intentional on Ford, that this was part of like the spoken direction on set, but he is telling the Jorgensens, the actors, don't look at Ethan. You're not making eye contact with him. You're looking at Debbie. They take Debbie. There's no backward glance at him. There's no thank you, Ethan. They take Debbie, and again, it's where like the silhouette of like the exterior and the frontier and the interior, the civilization being like part of the theme. They take Debbie and they walk inside. They're now out of the frontier. They're in the home. And then in the background, you see, what's her name? I love Martin's soon-to-be wife.
I'm blanking on her
Lori.
name too.
Lori.
Yeah, you see Lori and Martin make eye contact, and they just join together behind Ethan. Ethan turns around and looks at him, and again, no eye contact. There's no thank you, Ethan. There's nothing. They walk. He steps out of the way because it's like they're just walking straight, and he like steps aside as they walk in, eyes locked on each other, and again, like posture and framing is part of the story, and it's not like the Mandalorian upright in the first episode of the awesome silhouette. It's that kind of awkward. He's holding his arm, he's slunched over, he's isolated and alone. Like, the ending is not his celebration. This is not his victory. Everything happening around him is completely ignoring him. His presence is just such a non-factor there. And so I think the movie recognizes that, like, in some way, there's like an atonement here. Like, this is not your victory to step into. And so there's just that image of him looking there isolated and alone, and then having to turn around while they literally sing Right Away, just walk off by himself as the door of this new world, this new civilization that they're bringing out here closes on him as he, like, it's just, I think the movie knows that this is a complicated person, and it's just he doesn't get either hero or villain death. He walks away because this world isn't his, and the war is over, so the war isn't his. So it's just the world that's happening now doesn't belong to him. And there's just something tragic but really thoughtful about that to me.
I guess you could say that he was searching for his purpose.
You could.
That's good, dude. That's good stuff. I like that. You should do a video essay on this.
I don't know.
Let him cook.
Come on. You're good at it.
I did one, and it took me forever.
But it was worth it. People liked it.
Yep. Our most viewed video. No pressure.
No, dude, that's good. That's really good. I did notice that on the ending too. Like that it was remarkably, like, even though like tonally it was like happy, I felt like musically it felt happy, if I'm remembering it correctly. Obviously, like, they get her to these people, and that's happy and all that, but yeah, it's all happening around him, and he just kind of walks off.
Yeah. And if you look on his face, he's not even taking part in the celebration. It's like there's like a longing in his eyes of, like, I don't know. He's not happy. Everybody else's smiles around him, but there's like just a lost look to his face.
Like he's consumed by something else. Yeah. And this rescuing this girl did not fix that in him, you know?
Yeah.
And that's sad, but also like really interesting. So I like that.
Were there any of the side characters? There's several different like families and people we come across. Is there anybody that really stood out for y'all?
Mose.
I love Mose.
Yeah, Mose is great. I even like the what was his name? Charlie, the guy
I
who's about
love
to marry
Charlie.
Lori.
Ha ha ha.
His voice is just incredible. Yeah,
I like Lori's dad.
yeah, there's a lot of like really good side characters. Um, yeah, I mean, Lori is a little bit more of a prominent character, but I also think Lori is great, and I
Yeah.
love her dynamic with Martin. This movie is surprisingly really funny at times. And whenever Martin's taking a bath and then she pours the water on him, and like all like that entire interaction is just super funny.
Yeah.
I love the line in that. Whatever he was like, "You talk as if I might as well run around naked. Wouldn't bother me none. I wouldn't try it around. Well, Paul's around though."
But yeah, I love that scene. And then you have like the running gag of her slapping him, and he like falls over the bench.
Yes.
And then later on, he gets into the fist fight with Charlie, and he gets knocked over on the bench again.
Paulie
like,
did it again.
There's just like bits of humor here and there. There's also the crazy scene where he kicks the woman down the hill.
I rewound that like 5 times because I could not believe that was happening, and both horrified and absolutely laughing hysterically at the same time.
It's
It's
incredible. I can't believe that exists, but
I can't believe it's not a GIF.
honestly,
Oh.
divorce.
That's I
really like when Martin and you said Charlie, right? Yeah, when they are about to fight and they like are super polite pre-fight.
Yeah.
And then they get into it.
I love it. Like, wait, somebody's fiddle. He like moves it out of the fight.
There's really funny comedic timing in the way that they're being like polite to each other, and like helping him. Was it what did he do? Help him take off a jacket or something like that?
Yeah.
Like all of that. I was like, what is happening right now? This feels like Barney Fife and Gomer Pye fixing to fight each other, and they're just being super polite beforehand. Like and then they really go at it.
Yeah.
Like
I also like that they lay down the like ground rules and stuff.
Yeah. That's so fun. Whatever he's like, is this fight in the line of duty? No, it's more of a personal affair. Well,
all right,
then you can fight. Fight fair. I love
also
his first.
So go ahead.
I love Charlie's first line when he sees Paul with Lori, and he's like, "I'll thank you to unhand my fiancé."
Yeah.
I did laugh out loud on that. That was so good. My fiancé.
What a guy.
I also, another character I like was the Reverend Captain guy that, depending on the situation, wore different hats.
It's a Wonderful Life.
What, James?
He's the police officer who serenades them in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's the actor.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I need to, man, now I want to go watch it again. But no, I really liked his character too. I liked that he was like just whatever the town needed him to be. He is that. I like when that happens in movies. It's really funny.
Yeah. There's a great line when he tells Ethan, he's like, I need to ask you to come into town. The expression Ethan used, is this an invitation to a necktie party? It's just,
Yep.
I love that.
That'll be the day. I love that line.
Oh yeah. The different like scenarios we hear that in. Sometimes fully comedic, and then whenever Martin is just like, "I hope you die."
That'll be the day. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. To stick with Lori, I do love, like, I love her dynamic with Paul, and just how whenever she's reading the letter, you know, like, you expect him to get my name right, you know, with the misspelling, and all of her like understanding, like, anger towards him at various points in the movie. But and like, whenever, you know, for her, like, it's so clear that, like, it's them two together, like, they know it, everybody knows it, and he says, you know, "Lori, I think it's about time you and I started going steady." She's like,
Going steady.
"Martin, Paul, you and I have been going steady since we were 3 years old." Yeah. We have? It's about time you find out. Or you found out.
Martin is so stupid in this area. I thought I didn't need to say that.
He deserved a slap.
He did deserve a slap. He deserved a few slaps. Like, stringing this girl along, not writing a letter in like 6 months or whatever.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
That sounds like something he'd say. Was it that long?
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
I wrote you a letter.
Oh, yeah, 1 in 5 years.
You couldn't even say I love you. I thought you knew that. I didn't feel the need to say it or whatever. Come on, dude. You idiot. Martin gave me serious Skywalker vibes in this movie. He is, not only is he like,
down to finding the burning corpses of his aunt and uncle, you know. A very, very similar shot. Like,
I actually didn't even think about that.
That shot of the burning house and then the reverse shot back to the reaction is straight up A New Hope. Like,
dude, good call. I didn't even think about that, when I just mean literally, like, not only is he the real hero of this story, I think, but also he is a whiny little he whines like an Anakin, like a Luke, like a Kylo. Like, he is super Skywalker in that way. And but like, not in that, like, I thought it was like in an endearing way a lot of the time. Like, I did not find him an annoying character, but sometimes I was like, dude, you are so whiny. And I really, he reminded me of, if he's Luke, then Ethan is Han. They had like an Ethan and Han kind of relationship at times, and just older Han, obviously. But I really,
I can hear Han saying that'll be the day.
Oh my gosh, I can hear Han saying a lot of Ethan's lines. But yeah, I didn't even think about the burning aunt and uncle or part. That's actually pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of shots in this film where I just like couldn't stop thinking about A New Hope, and then even some of the music, I was like, I see where some of John Williams' inspiration comes from, because I sent y'all a track, and there are some notes in that track where I was like, this is literally Rey's theme. Yeah. And there's a few other tracks throughout the film where I could not stop thinking about John Williams. I was like, this is so John Williams coded right now.
It's like outside of, you know, not even outside of these, you've got your major Star Wars themes that everybody recognizes, but so much of just his music is, when you go back and you listen to classical music, he's just like, I'm just putting classical music in our space opera, guys. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just what I'm gonna do. Like, I remember playing it, and I forget who it was, but somebody was around listening to it, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, it's Star Wars. What? Sounds like, I don't know, a classical piece. I'm like, yeah, it does. That's why it's awesome. But,
yeah. Well, And Max Steiner was a huge influence on John Williams. That's pretty evident. But it makes total sense.
Yeah.
You can really hear it.
Yeah. And I mean, that mixed with George Lucas being an enormous fan of John Ford, there's just kind of a transpose, this onto this that's happening.
Yeah.
But speaking of Steiner, I also think the music in this is incredible.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie, for sure.
The tender theme that kind of attaches itself to Debbie, that I get stuck in my head all the time. It's just that quiet, sweet little notes playing is like so memorable to me.
Yeah.
There's also a theme. I can't remember what part of the movie it plays at. I think it's whenever they first like go on the search. It's got like this very intense kind of like sound to it. That felt very different from the rest of the score, not in a bad way. It's just it really stuck out to me, and I was like, this kind of feels like some modern like villain theme. Again, it was like one of those things where I was like, oh, this could be like the Darth Vader theme of this movie. And I'm pretty sure you can hear it throughout the film more than once. I think it's let's see. I think I found it. Oh yeah. Okay. It's whenever the Indians are surrounding them. That's the theme. And that's the title of the track. Indians surround the posse.
Play
it. We're gonna get that copyright strike.
We're not making any money on this.
Yeah, but they're still gonna be like, if you don't remove this, then we'll stop playing it in like 500 countries. Because the same thing happened to it was which episode? It was one of the James Bond episodes we did. I think it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And there was a video that I played at the beginning. I don't even remember what it was, but it had the James Bond theme. And then I remember that they said that the stream was disabled in like everywhere. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened though. Dude, they got AI like scouring YouTube.
They do.
Yeah, and a lot of times it like falsely marks stuff.
But yeah, I think the music was excellent. I did like James, that sweet theme you're talking about is super memorable. I really also just like it opened with like some, I remember the tone of it, but I don't remember like I couldn't hum it to you right now. I just remember thinking, okay, we're in for a film because that I don't know, there's something about the way that music just hits in. It's intense and it's so good. But my favorite parts of the music in this one was when it went dark. I feel like when like whether it's like a character had a realization, like a bad realization, and then the music just shifts and the mood shifts very suddenly, the music portrayed that shift so well. And I think it was really good. And I've probably seen more films that Max Steiner composed, but this made me want to go watch some more because where I'm like fully aware that Max Steiner composed it, because now I'm like, I feel like I've been missing out on, like, I know he's one of the greats. I'm not as familiar with him as I am with John Williams and, like Hans Zimmer and like all these. He's a missing great for me,
Yeah. His King Kong stuff is genuinely like,
I
feel like you're
really want to.
Yeah. On an adventure on an island in the coolest ways. Yeah. I really loved how the music, and you had you had messaged this before, of just the use of the music kind of working hand in hand with the scale.
Oh yeah.
And there's one moment that just, to me, I'm like, this is one of those moments where I'm like, I'm a dumb guy watching like an artist at work, like of just being like, I'm just happy to watch a movie that does stuff like this, that just makes me like clap, like that was awesome. Whenever Laurie is leaning on the door, and Charlie starts playing and singing "Skip to My Lou," and it's just him, and he was a famous country western singer and actor, but he would do a lot of the old famous like country songs of that era, especially if it was in a group. He's one of the voices that you'd hear. And if you love the Disney Robin Hood, he's Nutsy, the buzzard.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Criminally nutsy.
Yep, that's him.
Pea shooter down. Sorry. I love that movie.
Oh, I do too. That's one of the best, I think.
Yeah,
but
I
he's
agree.
he's Nutsy in that.
What? Oh my god.
But it's a shot of him playing and singing to her, and then it just does this crossfade as like there's like a handoff between his strumming into the score that just takes off as we do the slow crossfade into one of the best shots in the movie, of just, again, the low horizon that John Ford shouted at a young Steven Spielberg, but the low horizon of the horse's silhouette in the background, a very like proto Lawrence of Arabia shot of just, again, an intimate, frame within a frame of them in the door frame, into the crossfade of the sun just setting on these two tiny figures at the bottom. And to go with that crossfade, you just hear the transition from him into the score taking off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Poetic cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what the thing that I was saying was, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot that I said that, but it's basically, this movie's already, like, just watching it, the scale of it is so huge, but the music makes it feel like twice that size, like just the scope and scale of it. And so for a composer to be able to take what is already massive on the screen and like make it feel even bigger, it really is working hand in hand with it. And it's so, and then in the moments, there's not, we have these huge scale, like these huge wide shots and all this, the movie feels huge, but then there's also a lot of really intimate moments, and I think the music does really, really well in those moments too. And what, like, to me, the best composers and directors know also is sometimes no music is the best music, and I think the movie chooses great moments for no music as well.
Yeah.
And so I feel like all in all, the composer to director relationship in this movie feels like a winner.
Yeah,
I know that's a hot take. John Ford and Max Steiner.
What?
Why would you say something so bold?
I don't, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for that, but I think I'll make it.
Was there anything else that stood out that y'all wanted to bring up?
I guess one last thing that I want to bring up again are the action sequences. Because I think they're genuinely fantastic in this, and very convincing. Like, even down to like seeing the sparks fly from all their revolvers and repeaters and everything. But the ending of this film, the last act, the huge gunfight while riding the horses, and you have the camera following, like, the tracking shot of them riding the horses through the camp, that entire sequence
Incredible.
is
Yeah, it looks awesome.
there. I don't know. They had someone time travel back into the 50s to do that, because I don't know how the heck they did it.
Dude, for them, because those horses are booking it, that is full speed, and for that camera to be keeping pace and keeping the framing, like when Ethan is just right there, perfectly framed, riding as fast as he can, like the camera is speeding through this camp. It's incredible to me.
And the cameras back then were like dinosaurs. They were massive, and on top of that, it's all using film too. So you have all of that film on the camera. Like, I don't know how.
You just got a guy up there going, while he's being pushed like crazy.
They've just got a hamster wheel. Yeah, that entire sequence, it is fantastic, and
that's a
I like that it just kind of like crescendos at the end of the film. Like you get the interaction with Ethan, Martin, and Debbie, and I love just the way that all escalates. How you have the Comanche guy come over the hill, and Martin goes out his way to save Ethan right there, and then one thing leads to another, and it just ends up in like this all-out war. I don't know. I think it was like a great way of like building some tension and just ending the film on a huge bang.
Yeah, that's a good shot. The shots of just roaming through the encampment is pretty amazing. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
I also love some of the preamble to it with the guy announcing the colonel who's his dad. It cracked me up. Like he keeps trying to be like Colonel blah blah blah, and he's like, "Well, tell your pa to blah." It's just the whole time, and then the final note on the joke is the thing that got me the hardest. Is so it's over, the day is what, like the battle's over, and then the cavalry shows up, and you meet his dad, and his dad is as dorky as him. He's like, "Good work, Captain. Good work, son." Just so funny to me.
Oh yes, yeah, that stuff was all really funny.
This movie's got it all.
This movie's got it all. Action, romance, revenge.
There you go.
Comedy. I think one thing that I did forget to bring up was, I think one of John Wayne's best moments as an actor in this movie was when he found
Lucy,
and when he came back and he tried not to tell them, but he ended up having to tell them. The way that he conveyed that, I just thought that was like really, really good. Like a great performance. He was really torn up by that.
What you saw wasn't Lucy.
What?
Whenever he's like, "Oh, I saw Lucy. She's underneath the blah blah blah." And he's like, "What you saw wasn't."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was hard. That was really, really. I thought it was great acting, and gosh, I was also like, oh, this is the kind of movie we're watching. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just figured we would save them both. But yeah, that was really great. I wanted to make sure I brought that up. That was, even watching the movie, I was like, wow, that was some acting right there.
Oh yeah.
There's just something about, I feel like something that I love about him as an actor is there's the bigger moments that he has, and I feel like his laughter is infectious. Like whenever he's like, "You didn't buy a blanket, you bought a wife," and he slaps him, and he just like does the throwing his head back and just laughing at the top of his, like that killed me. But then it's like he's got the big, like, "Well, howdy, Pilgrim" kind of stuff going on, and then there's the moment of them like on their horses, they're in the snow, and they're looking. He's like, "Do you think we'll catch him?" And it's just him, like super squinty eye, almost like proto Clint Eastwood, just like looking straight, and he's like, "We'll catch him." And he's just like, he's describing like, this is how they ride, this is how they blah blah blah. But then he just goes, "But we'll catch him, sure as the earth turns." And he just,
I love that line.
It's just, there's like this, and then he just pulls it back and like falls out of frame, and I'm like, oh my God.
I remember thinking that's a line. That's a great line.
Yeah.
I also really love that shot of them talking, and the shot is like just through the
like the limbs and
the tree limbs, the branches and stuff. Like, I really like that shot. It's really cool because there's like snow on them too. It's just
snowy Western is such a
come on
to me.
It's too good. It's too cool.
I see what you did there.
Snow. Are we gonna do White Christmas this year, y'all?
We've got to
White Christmas this year.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Did we do It's a Wonderful Life? I can't remember. We did. Okay.
Yeah, it was just
remember.
Michael. I think it was just you and me that did it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's still one of our most viewed streams.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, good. That's a great movie.
Yeah, so good.
We should definitely do White Christmas this year,
please.
Because which is better than Holiday Inn. Like, get out if you get out of here. If you don't,
miles,
it's not even close. Like, I don't even like Holiday Inn.
I don't either. I watched it for the first time last year, and I was like, "What the heck? This wasn't even good."
I genuinely don't even like it, and it's not the blackface. It's just not great.
It's partly the blackface.
Okay, yeah, it's partly the black, but it's bad before that.
It's bad before that, and it's bad after that. It's not even like, well, here's the thing we have to suffer through to get to all the good outside of it. It's like,
no, it's like, why did I watch
through this? It's the whole thing is not good.
I watched blackface for this.
Gonna turn that into a short. Oh man, that's crazy.
White Christmas is way better.
Yeah, White Christmas is.
I am so down for that idea.
Oh, that makes me happy.
One last thing that I wanted to point out, just it's a moment that, like, again, it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, I'm watching a guy who knows what he's doing. I think the build up to the attack that we don't see early on, the attack that where they take Lucy and Debbie, the build up in that is incredible, where the dad hears that he knows that there's something that's not right, and he walks inside, and the wife is like, like, hey, you sit down, we're about to, we're winding down. And he's like, he grabs the rifle, and it's so cool. He steps inside the frame, grabs the rifle from above the door, and he's like, I'm gonna go see if I can get some last minute. And he just says the name of some animal he's gonna go try to shoot. And she's like, okay. And he walks out, and then he grabs his pistol, and he doesn't say anything to her. But when he just grabs that rifle, his wife thinks she takes him at his word. He's just gonna go and get that. And then she sees him take his pistol, and she's like, okay, there's actually something going on. But they've got Lucy and Debbie around, so she can't say that she understands what he's doing now. And Lucy comes up with the light, and the mom just goes, Lucy, we don't need a light yet.
Smack.
And Lucy is like, well, no, this is initially, like, the very first time she tries to do that. And she's like, we don't need a light yet. And she's like, let's just enjoy the dusk. Like, she's trying to, like, keep it from cooking, like keeping the pressure cooker, like, let's not let it get out of hand. And then there's just that shot of the dad. You see him from inside, you see him out the door just standing there with his rifle, and then you get the he runs in, and Lucy goes and lights the lamp, and is saying something about being annoyed that she can't light it. She lights it, and then the mom just slaps her, or no, she doesn't slap it. She says, she puts it out again, and I don't think she says anything. It's
She just screams at the top of her lungs.
yeah, because Lucy, the mom doesn't say anything to Lucy, but Lucy all of a sudden realizes why they're being so cagey, what's going on, and then you get that snap zoom, like where they just take the camera and they just go woof, and she looks and she just screams, and there's something about the mom just slap and then the immediate hug of like just such terror, such a gut reaction to slap, shut up, and then to grab her and console her, and just the look on the mom as she's sending Debbie out the window, where Debbie has no idea what's going on, but just she like collapses basically on the sill as she sends her out. I just think that build of like, I'm gonna go get this. Okay, the pistol's pocketed. No light. Let's enjoy this. Comes back like it's just the build and build and build and build, and that until everybody finally catches up to what's going on is, I just think it's so good.
Good stuff. What a good.
All right, Drewby, I'm handing this back over to you. You can drive.
I don't. I am drive.
You are.
I'm Ryan Gosling. He's literally me.
I drive.
Anywho,
I talk for
yeah. So before we wrap this up, I think it's time to give our ratings for The Searchers. Let's build up the tension, just like the film does. Jimmy Jam, give us your rating.
This is a 5-star for me. I just freaking love it. I wanted to read something from a review that is probably my favorite review I've read on it.
You wrote it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm not smart enough to write this by a long shot. But this is just from somebody named Hannah Long, where at the very end of her section where she's talking about Ethan, as well as just then about the world that they inhabit, she says he's explicitly opposed to the Christians in the story, but they welcome him and need him. But we civilized people with our army dressed up as clergy aren't left off the hook. Lori in her virgin whites dismissing Debbie as the leaving of Comanche bucks is an expression as ugly and vicious as anything Ethan says. What does it mean to be a hero if this is what it entails? And I just thought, just that picture of like the ugliness and like the mixture of just the world that this movie is presenting, where again, like what people are wearing is so important in these. Also, I didn't mention this. Sorry, I don't mean to, the last thing. The color of hats is so important in Westerns. It is like always pay attention to like the white hat, the black hat. The white hat is your good guy. Ethan wears a black hat this whole movie. The only time he wears the white hat is when he's first there to bargain with Scar to get Debbie. And then when he sees what Debbie's become, it's the black hat right back on. And then the white dress, like for her to be here, she's like the picture of like purity and civilization in this frontier. And I just like what she points out, that whenever she says, you know, she's referring to Debbie as now like the leavings of Comanche bucks, is like, this is as just of a sentiment as we've seen in the movie too. So I don't know. I wanted to shout out that review because I thought the whole review is really, really well written. But anyways, yeah, it's a 5-star for me.
Heck yeah. It's a 5-star for me as well. I really loved this the first time I watched it. And the second time, which was for the pod, watching it, I feel like I noticed a lot more subtleties and nuances, some of the stuff that we brought up tonight in our stream that I just didn't really notice before. And that's the great thing about rewatching movies. There's a lot of value in that. We say that literally every time, but like we do genuinely mean it. I think this film is fantastic. It's iconic for a reason. It's because it's great. And I think it's definitely up there, you know, not just amongst my favorite Westerns, but I think it's up there as just one of the best Westerns in general.
Best Western.
Best Western. Sponsor our show, Best Western.
Exactly.
Michael. Yeah, I will give this. I will go 4 stars on this. I really like this movie a whole lot, and I think that there's so much about it. It's obviously expertly crafted by a master of, you know, making movies, and I think that there is a depth to it that I really appreciate. I do think that for me, it's just not, for whatever reason, it just hasn't like stuck with me like a 4.5 or 5 star. When I watched Magnolia that first time, I did give it 4 stars, but it really stuck with me and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I watched it again and I was like, yeah, 4.5 stars. And then maybe next time I watch it, it'll be 5 because it's still stuck with me. And this one I really enjoyed, and I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait to watch it again. I'm sure it'll be on sometime at my in-laws' house. But like, I genuinely can't wait to watch it again because I did really enjoy it. And maybe it'll go up on that rewatch. But on this one, it just didn't like stick with me. And I didn't, you know, when it was over, I kind of just went about my day and I thought that was a great time and, you know, moved on. And I did think about it, but it was because I knew we were doing a podcast on it, so I had to. But like, it's just one of those. I think that I will. There's definitely a chance for it to go up on a rewatch, or even more as I watch more Westerns. Just gain an appreciation for what they were doing here too. You know, I think that's possible too. So, yeah. So I say that as just obviously I am the Western noob here, but really, really good movie. I can't wait to watch it again.
Nice.
Okay, I'll take that over like a 3.5 for sure.
Yeah, it was between 3.5 and 4, and like I figured, talking with you guys kind of would help me bump it up a little bit. So
yeah, I think there's a different type of Western film that will probably resonate with you a bit more, but I'm excited to get to like the Western film where you're like, yeah, this is
my stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be, you know, a Knight's Tale version of a Western. It's just Shanghai Noon.
That is my jam right there, honestly.
Yes, but
hey, by the way, he accidentally wins an Indian wife in that movie too. Basically stolen from this.
It's movie. A nod.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yep. Anyways, yeah, that was a ton of fun, Jimmy Jam. Thank you for leading the discussion on that. You, the listener, should subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can jump in on the live streams, and you should also follow us on Spotify and Apple. Give us the 5-star review because that helps with the show. Also, if you want to join in on our Facebook group, that'll be in the link tree below. It's Banter Fodder, a film and television discussion group, if you want to look it up. We're really, really close to 200 members, so we should totally try and get there. That'd be awesome. And until next time, go watch some movies at your local theaters.
I'm trying.
There's a lot of movies coming out. We just had The Long Walk come out, and I gave a raving little review on that. You should go see that. Especially because it needs the money. Go support those low to mid budget films. We need more of them. We've got Him coming out this weekend. I have no clue if the ratings have come out or not, but
Her.
Jordan Peele produced. So hopefully it's gonna be good. And then we've got one battle after another next week.
Oh my.
Crazy time.
Oh
And then we've
my.
got a lot of other cool stuff coming out in October. So go hit up those theaters, watch some movies, grab some concessions. We'll see y'all next time for Once Upon a Time in the West.
Wrong movie, but I love this.
Same director.
Same director, same composer.
Same composer. Exactly. All right. We'll see y'all later.